Now, a bankrupt, breakaway French region launches a surprise invasion across the border to raid Swiss banks and loot money it says was stolen. That's the scenario cooked up for the most recent war games carried out in Switzerland, which has the biggest army in Europe relative to its population. Peter Oliver reports.
The idea of two Western European nations going to war with each other may seem unthinkable. However, that's exactly the contingency that the Swiss military have been preparing for. In an article in Le Matin Dimanche newspaper, it was revealed that the Swiss armed forces had conducted war games in which they depicted an invasion by neighbours France. Now, to find out a little bit more about this, I'm joined by the author of that article, Laurent Keller. Laurent, thanks very much for talking to me. Why did the Swiss military think that this was necessary?
There's a history to this. In 2012, the Swiss army already held exercises on the premise that Europe slides into economic chaos and many immigrants flock into the country. This time around, they went even further and created another legend suggesting that a financially stricken France breaks apart into warring regions. One of the new countries that will appear will be called Saônia, a small but very nationalistic state. Saônia will have 30% unemployment, huge debt, and it will blame Switzerland for creating this debt. So Saônia is preparing an attack on Switzerland to retrieve the money it had allegedly swiped from France.
What's the reaction been in France to being portrayed as the invaders here?
The French media made fun of this and mocked it. We received lots of phone calls from the French press. They didn't take it seriously. But in Switzerland, people are very serious about whatever the army does. So public opinion is split. Some believe the story told for the drills was quite realistic and supports the idea of an exercise with this premise. Others think the Swiss army put itself in a discrediting position.
Thank you very much. So, Swiss war games underlining real tensions between neighbours in Western Europe.